Hi, my name is Adnan Lokhanwala and welcome to today's video. What I want to talk about is the 5 things that I learned from my non-traditional engineering job. So when I say non-traditional, yes, I do still work for a company as a mechanical engineer. I do work in the office, but sometimes my office could be located on a boat somewhere. So let's get into this. So the first one. There are days when I wake up at 5 in the morning, drive an hour to work a 10-hour day, drive another hour back, usually with more traffic, and I still have energy to do things, and I will usually go to the gym, go play a sport with a friend, usually do something after the long day. On the other hand, there are days when I will wake up 5 minutes before I'm supposed to log into work, the days I'm working from home, only work my 7-hour day, and still feel really tired by the end of it. I need to take a nap, and that means that I don't usually get much done in the evening, and the day is most of it is wasted, versus, as I said before, the days where I'm waking up early, going to this long day, come back home, they always feel a lot more productive. So what I learned from it is that sometimes getting a start in the morning and taking a shower, changing my clothes, getting in the car and changing my state, that really helps me make sure I have a good day. So now onwards, even if I'm working from home, I will set an alarm for an hour before. I'll wake up, I'll eat breakfast, I'll take a shower. Sometimes I'll just go out, go for a little walk, and then come back and then start my work day, and basically changing my state instead of waking up 5 minutes later, logging into the computer and working while sitting in bed. Make sure that I have a good and productive day. The second lesson I learned is that education by itself does not determine success. Also, age doesn't determine, let's use the word success in this case. So an example is there's a 19-year-old that I work with that makes 6 figures who went to school for a mere 6 months for a specialized course. On the other hand, like many other engineers, I went to school for a 4 years degree. I ended up doing a 5th year of a management program, and most engineers still do not come close to making 6 figures until a couple years into the career, which is usually when they're closer to the age of 30. Versus here, this 19-year-old is making 6 figures, right? So what I learned is that it isn't simply about, just because I have this education and this degree, I will make such and such amount of money. It all comes down to what you do and the value that you provide, and then you usually get paid accordingly. So in this case, even at 19, this person is able to provide that value and hence takes home a very substantial paycheck. The third thing that I learned is that people in general are good. So what I mean by this is that people in general do not really like conflict. Sure, there's a few bad apples here and there who don't have the best persona, and you probably don't want to meet these people, but in general, people are really good, and they usually want to find some ground to connect on. All you have to do is find that. So in my case, the team that I work with so my background, I am of Indian origin, versus the team that I work with, everyone on there is Caucasian. So what I realized is that even though we don't come from similar backgrounds and similar experiences, we in life, the fact that we have come to the same place and we work for the same employer and the same team, there is some commonality, and just finding that commonality and trying to connect on it has made sure that I have been able to develop a relationship with each person on my team, and we get along really well. Just an extension to this is a story that I remember listening to. So there was a person who had to move away for work. So when he moved away, he got to the new community and went around and introduced himself to the other guys in the community, and soon they were inviting him to fishing trips and barbecues and to watch the game and things like those. On the other hand, his wife wasn't getting invited to any events and was starting to feel really lonely. So about 6 months later, they decided, you know what, she is not really enjoying herself in this new place, so we are going to move back to where we came from. A few days before they were supposed to move back, some of the guys in the community invited them over for a farewell party. So the wife said, now that we are leaving, they are inviting us over, but we were here for 6 months and the ladies never made an attempt to get to know me, and I'm not going to come. So the guy said, you know what, I'm friends with these people in the community, so I will still go. So when he went there, he started talking to one of the other ladies, and what he found out was the reason they never invited his wife to any of the events is because she never made an effort to really introduce herself to anyone or get to know anyone. They basically said that they looked at him and the fact that he had gone out of his way to introduce himself to their husbands and make friends with them, and then like do things and plan events and such, meant that he wanted to hang out with them, and the fact that the wife had not done anything to introduce herself to the ladies meant she didn't really want to be involved with them, and for that reason they basically didn't invite her because they didn't really want to invade her space. So the husband came back from this event and told his wife this, and then asked her, like, have you made an attempt to introduce yourself to anyone? And she said, no, I expected them to do it. So he said, you know what, they were supposed to move maybe in the next day or two. They said, let's move the next week, and how about we invite the people over and you make an attempt to introduce yourself to the ladies in the community and try to get to know them. So that's exactly what happened, and that's what she did. She made the effort and she tried to get to know them, and by the end of the week, like, she was getting invited to the book clubs and other events that were going on in the community. And they not only didn't move that coming weekend, they didn't move for another 19 years. So that just goes to show that sometimes you need to take a little effort to get to know people around you, especially if you are new. You're the new person. So in my case, like when I was new to the team, the people on the team, yes, they try to make me feel welcome, but at the end of the day, the responsibility of building those relationships and making myself part of the team was on my shoulders because I was a new person. So the fourth thing I learned is that I do consider myself a smart person, but I didn't know how good I was when it came to certain things. So for example, computer skills. Solving computer issues or knowing how to do things on a computer. From my education background in university, I was always surrounded by smart, tech-savvy people. So I always thought I was about average, and yeah, I could get through a few things, but I didn't really think of myself as exceptionally good in any means. I more so thought I was exceptionally below average. On the other hand, when I started working with a team of people who are not the best and the most tech-savvy, but more so their skills lie in the trades, what I realized is I am really good at solving problems related to computers and using computers, and which I had not given myself credit for before. So what I learned is that if you only surround yourself with people like you, one, you will not learn anything new, because I have learned a lot of different lessons and things which I didn't even think were possible. I'm hearing stories of people doing them and having a good time doing them. So you learn from people who are unlike yourself, but also you learn about yourself and the strengths that you have, because when you only compare yourself to people who are doing the same things as you are, and in most cases doing them better than you, you don't realize that yes, in that little tiny group, you may not be the best, but in the entirety of the world, you do have value to provide, and you are quite good at what you do. And then lastly, the fifth lesson that I learned was that the way people drive on the same set of roads and the same neighborhoods is very different depending on the time. So in the past, I used to work a traditional 9-to-5 job, which was I used to try to work during peak hours and then back from work during peak hours, and basically like people were cutting me off, I was swearing at them, I used to be in a really bad mood, and I should get to work and be like, these people cut me off today, and I should get back home from work being like, oh, I made it back and I could have got into 2 accidents today, but thankfully nothing happened, another day I'm saved. So this was a huge source of stress in my life, and I didn't really realize it at the time. So I always looked at driving as something I didn't like doing. Now changed that to my current job, when many times I have at 6 in the morning, so I'm driving to work from 6 to 7 where there isn't much traffic on the roads. Everyone is driving calmly, and on the exact same highways, people are not hogging the leftmost lane or tailgating you. Like, everyone is driving nicely, giving each other space, using their signals, and now I actually enjoy my morning commute. Even though it is longer, I really enjoy it. It's kind of meditative in essence, because like it's only me, the open road. I'm really like with my thoughts thinking about things. And another good benefit of that which has come to be is audiobooks. So in the past I did attempt to listen to audiobooks, but because of the stress of all these other things going around me with the traffic, I never really was able to focus, and that used to stress me out even further, because I'm like, oh, what did I miss now? So because of that, I just gave up on audiobooks. But now I'm able to finish about 2 books a month during my commute, which is adding value to my life instead of being time which previously was just time that I was wasting away behind the wheel at the car, going to and back from work. Right? It is time that I'm actually using to collect my thoughts, think about what I did in the previous week, what I want to do going forward. And yes, when I listen to the audiobooks, I'm learning something new as well. So yeah, that was a quick video of 5 things that I learned from benefits of my non-traditional job there. And I hope you learned something new out of it. And if you have any benefits that you've noticed from your job and would like to share them, I would love to read them in the comments. Thank you so much.